Hello and welcome to the VR Untethered podcast, where we like to start things off by staring awkwardly at our cameras. Not because we like to stare into the depths of your souls, but because we're waiting for everything to clear up after hitting record.
Perfect explanation. Not Brad.
Josh. But I am Josh, and that is Brad. And with no further ado, we have news, we have apps, and we have highlights. So let's start with the highlights.
Okay. My highlights of the week were trying to catch up with all of my friends in death.
That sounds good. Trying to catch up with everybody in death.
I know it's almost as weird as running around saying, "Oh, great, I could get a banana," which some people will know exactly what I'm speaking about.
But can you peel that banana?
I can quickly these days.
Okay.
I'm
while moving?
Banana peeling. While moving, yes.
Okay.
As long as I can get rid of the damn gun. It sticks sometimes, you know. Missed the other play test too. Anyway, were we in highlights? Yes.
Yeah.
Highlights this week. Highlights. In death, yes. When in death is your highlight, you know it's all downhill. My highlight this week was literally going into the pits of hell. That was my highlight this week.
And dying repeatedly.
Oh, well, that's the thing, is if you die 66 times, you acquire holy armor.
Really?
Yeah.
What if you die 666 times?
I think it's only good on the 66th time. I don't know.
Do you get unholy armor when you do that?
Oh, unholy armor is all around the place when you begin. Have you played the game yet?
Not yet, no.
You really should. It's really a masterpiece on the Quest, and addictive. You know, I have so many games, but that's the one I keep jumping back into because I'm saying I'm only going to play it for 20 more minutes. And then the headset dies, and I realize it's been a lot more than 20 minutes.
It's fun when that happens.
Oh, so yeah, but it's a great game. It really is. The only problem I'm having is tracking. I don't know if it's version 20. I don't know if it's certain games within version 20.
But you keep losing one of your controllers?
Yeah, it just flew.
That started happening in version 19. I was thinking it was related to why you are fit, so I uninstalled that, but I still get it.
Yeah, I know. I've never put in why you are fit, so.
I'll be running along and onward, and then I go to put my gun down, and it's not going down because I got to go to get up. All right, so as we were saying before we got interrupted by some weird internet glitch, we're gonna head the two parts together so that it'll just be a jump cut between my gesticulating wildly and this. But yeah, I have periodic issues where I've got to wave my hand around, and it's usually my right controller until I get it back. And then I can detach my gun, pull thread, go for a syringe, or click on the map, or or whatever. So
that's usually my right one also.
What?
It's usually my right controller as well.
Yeah. So I don't know what is going on with that, but it's something that started in version 19. I've noticed. So.
Which makes me wonder whether or not that's something coming up because the placement of the cameras on the new Quest S Lite 2, maybe whatever.
Shaquille O'Neal.
Sorry, I forgot that one. I know that's your favorite. But remember, it has more of a rift placement on where the so it might be that they're shifting over, and that might really end up making the Quest not a viable piece in the future.
Well, I hope they don't optimize things for the new one so much that it ruins things for the old one, because it should be a seamless thing.
Because what I was reading in Reddit was that one of the reasons that they're redoing it is there was some sort of in the coding for the original Quest, There's something that blocks the streaming of the 3D videos, and it's
Okay.
inherent in the nature of the beast. So if they're trying to overcome that and at the same time improve hand tracking at the cost of the Oculus tracking, well, pardon me, the new Facebook Oculus tracking before the Jedi controllers come, I don't know what's going on anymore. It's
But
really,
well, what I mean is, if it's an if it's an interim thing while they are ironing things out, and it's going to go back to working how it used to, that's fine. But what you seem to be implying earlier was, that they're optimizing for the new device coming out, and they're going to leave this one by the wayside. And in my opinion, that doesn't make any sense, because it should be a seamless thing. All they need is a flag. Which device is the OS running on? Oh, it's this one? Okay, you use this algorithm. On this one? Okay, use this algorithm.
oh, yeah, I agree with you. It's
So,
just that I don't see Facebook making very logical decisions right now, as far as we can see from out here to begin with. So,
all depends on where you're looking. So some of their decisions are definitely like,
well, I noticed that in advertising Facebook Connect 7, which is interesting considering there was no Facebook Connect 1 through 6.
right.
Facebook Connect 7 doesn't say VR AR, they say AR VR, which means,
That yeah, that could just be because that's the way it kind of naturally flows off of the tongue, usually, because that's alphabetical order and all of that, or it could mean that they're starting to have more of an AR focus. I don't know, but
well, I think with Nreal coming out with their glasses in Korea and with Apple certainly working on getting into the game quickly, and Sony seeming to be
I don't know
pretty,
about how quickly they're working on getting into the
well,
game, because they're not necessarily about jumping into the game fast. They're about jumping into the game in a way that they win, and they've got a solid product.
I would agree with you, other than the fact that they just did their 4-for-1 split, and I think they're going to have to make some sort of major announcement to make that move.
I was wondering what you meant by that when you said a 4-for-1 split in a Discord chat. There was no context about who. So.
Oh, yeah, no, I think that the Apple 4-to-1, it's like all of the market,
Right.
Analysts say that that's not the best thing a company can do. It's usually backfired in the past. But if they time it with
having a
a
stock
four,
split, or
a
a
four for
four-way
one,
stock split.
a four-way stock split when you're at the top of the market to drop your cap down to that level,
Well,
you
yeah,
it didn't work for Intel. It didn't work for anybody
right.
on
Well,
short term. It did
right.
on the long term. So,
Well, they're not necessarily looking at the short term; they're looking at the long term. So
oh, yeah, I know. That's why I'm
I
saying
don't
I
know.
have no idea what anybody is going to do because they're all reworking the office space to begin with. You can see
Right.
how many new office apps are coming out every day.
Right.
And it seems like the big thing is Apple wants to continue the way that Magic Leap did with the Wave type lenses as opposed to the VR type lenses. So I'm lost in that world. But going back from our tracking thing, and it's just that there are going to be so many changes. I wish that Facebook was doing their changes a little more, um, with a little more insight given to
Gradually.
people. Yeah, gradually, or just let us know why this is happening.
Right.
Obviously, you're having it and I'm having it. We're not the only two people in the world
Right.
having
Well,
it.
no,
So,
I'm the only person in the world.
right. Me too,
No.
which is interesting. So nobody is watching us because we're the only two people in the world. But yeah,
No, I'm watching us.
Oh, well, that makes you part of the two people in the world. That doesn't add anyone. It just gives us a subscriber. Um, yeah. So anyway, I've noticed in depth, and also I guess I've been holding off on playing a lot of my shooting games because of this tracking really gets me upset. You know, you can play the puzzle games and it's not so bad because then you can come back and do it. But on a shooting game, if you're off just by a little bit or you get held up by that millisecond,
Right.
it's kind of like a bummer.
It's kind of like a bummer, or it is a bummer.
I was trying to be nice about the whole thing, but yeah, it's a bummer, man. It's a real bummer.
Well, it started off as a highlight and ended off as a low light.
Well, but the game is great. I guess
Yeah.
that's what brought it
Yeah.
up was the fact that that was a great game, and noticing that I was having a flying away bow during the game was not the best experience.
Right. Well, what's really fun is when your hand is flying away, and then it turns around and it goes, and it waves down.
When it starts talking to you is when you have to really get nervous. You know?
Yes. Um, yeah. It reminded me of a gameplay video for the game Rest, which is a Steam VR game that a Wolf in VR was doing, and a couple times his hand detached itself and it was floating in his face off over here, still behind him, and he turns around and he goes, ah! Oh, there's my own hand. Stop scaring me, hand.
Yeah, I haven't had that experience yet. You know, that would be terrible in dread halls.
Yeah. Oh, the floating hand, a new enemy. How are they going to kill me?
Then you read the reviews and see the people talking about the new enemy that they added.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, so moving on to my highlights. I got some more Skyrim VR in, which is always fun. I did a big battle with a dragon and a dragon priest associated with him, and I managed to shout the dragon priest off of a cliff, and surprisingly, he wasn't hurt at all by the fall. I would have been, of course.
That's why you're not a dragon priest, man.
Yeah, but it enabled me to stand up on the cliff, shoot down on him where he can shoot back very, very well. He couldn't hit me, so it was a little bit amusing. And of course, I played some Onward this week as well. The team that I'm on had a scrim last night against another team, and I'm happy to say that with my battery pack after the hour and a half, hour 45 minutes of Onward, I was only down to 75% battery.
That's great.
So
Yeah, that's
yeah, so
that'll keep you alive to be killed more often. So
yeah, exactly. And I also had a lot of fun playing The Devouring in VR chat. I haven't finished it yet because I can't seem to get a group together to try to go through it. It goes a lot faster if you have more than one player because you can do all the puzzles concurrently, so it shaves off a lot of time.
right.
So I've been involuntarily trying to do speed runs. So, but it's a really well done game. It's got it doesn't exactly have jump scares like a lot of people think of jump scares, which is all of a sudden, you know, like the probably famous YouTube video troll thing where watch this car commercial, and there's a peaceful car driving through, and then
Right. There's many variations on that.
yeah. It's not that it doesn't have anything like that on purpose. It's more of the slow build and the oh no, I gotta go do this part again. And most of the enemies are either invisible or not seen clearly. So, and movies where you don't see the enemy, see the monster clearly, are more scary than movies where you can see the monster in its entirety.
Sometimes, depending on how
Well,
well.
usually, I mean, unless they are badly done.
Right.
But like, what was it? Bird Box, where they had to not look at the monsters or whatever, right? So they don't know what the monsters should look like. Neither do we, because the viewers never see the monsters either.
Okay.
And yeah. So anyway, it's well done game. It's like 5 to 6 hours on average. Some people took 22 hours.
Wow, that really cuts the average. That means that some people did it in 20 minutes.
Well, no one's done it in 20 minutes yet. The speed run is currently stuck around 31 minutes for the best time.
Right.
But the people that were in there for 22 hours, they used a PC to log another character in to act as a save point while they went and slept.
Okay.
I went back to it in the morning.
Nice. Very nice.
Because if you leave VR chat or you leave that world, unless there is someone you can join off of that is in the same instance still, you lose all of your progress, and you have to start back over.
Yeah, that's not so great on a.
So I think that's a limitation of VR chat, though.
There's a lot of games though that do that. Not all games give you save points anymore.
Well, there's only one safe area in the game. Is where you initially spawn, and every time you die, you are brought back to that one point. That's the only respawn point. That's the only safe point. It's the only save point. But as you go on, you open up shortcuts. So before you had to go out here, go through this room, go into the next room, go here, and then go here, and then go here. Well, now you can come out here, go through here, go through a hallway that takes you straight there.
And that appears eventually for you to get quicker.
It's a door that is locked at first, but then when you approach that door from the other side, you can open it, and then it's open.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. In Death, I also wish I had more save points, to be honest with you, because some of their save points are very far between. And with cloud syncing, you should be able to save pretty much anywhere you want.
Well, right. But anyway, this is a really well done game, and the studio behind it, because it's really a team called Four Ponies, because evidently they got labeled as the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse, and one of their team members goes, "No, we're more like ponies." So now they're Four Ponies.
Okay.
Anyways, they are going to be making all of the assets that were used in making the Devouring open to other people to make their own versions of it.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
Yeah. But in order to be eligible to do that, you have to have gone through the entire game.
Makes sense. Well, that's kind of fair. You don't want to
Well,
be.
yeah, because it's supposed to stay within the lore established by the first game. So,
Interesting way to go.
yeah.
I think we're going to see a lot more development now, especially when you see what Facebook is doing with Horizons and what
Yeah.
everybody's doing with World
Which
Builder.
leads me into my next highlight.
Amazing. What a coincidence.
I got access to the Facebook Horizon beta just a couple of days ago, and evidently with that widening of access, that they also lifted the NDA so people can talk about it and share videos about it now. So I've tried it out a couple times, and yes, it is a little bit like Rec Room. It's a little bit like VR chat. It's got some elements that are a little bit like Alt Space, but anything that's this general nature is going to resemble other things of that general nature.
Of course.
So, but I took a look at their creation tools, and it's got Rec Room put to shame.
Well, you would hope Facebook.
And it also feels a lot more stable than Rec Room usually does. I like Rec Room, but it does have its moments where it's got a lot of stability issues. So far, Horizon feels a lot more stable,
Right.
but that may also be because there aren't as many people all on it yet as there are on Rec Room, so it's not being strained as much as Rec Room is yet. So,
Right. And they're also watching everything you do
yeah, well, yeah,
all the time.
yeah, they have the rolling, the couple-minute video capture going on, so that if you report another player, you have 2 minutes of video already recorded to be able to attach to your report as proof of your claim against the other player. And they have the ability, I don't know that they've always got someone in there watching no matter what, but they have the ability to have a moderator in the room, invisible, able to see what is going on and then to step in and take action.
They don't want VR chat happening again.
Right. And on that note, I've seen a few people on Twitter commenting, just keep the kids out.
Right. Well,
Which I can understand, and in a way, this is probably one of the best ways to, because even if you have stupid parents that are letting their kids use the parents' Facebook account to get in, if that kid behaves in a way that gets that account banned, that's the parent's account that got banned.
exactly.
That hits the parent where it hurts. So it's got a chance to not be the Wild West of VR chat and not be the annoying screaming kid playground of Rec Room. So,
Well, it's interesting that now that we're bringing this up also is the fact that when announcing the update to Echo, they announced it with the major difference being the availability to eliminate toxicity,
yes.
which
Well, because it's a big problem.
I've played several games with different people who have told me that they won't go near Echo anymore, even though it was their favorite game.
Yeah. Yeah. I know what you mean. I keep putting off going back to it because, number one, thing worked out that I can't join a league on it yet until we get into a different space where I've got room where I'm not in the same room as my family, making them scared that I'm actually accidentally going to hit them when I'm lunging for the disc. And when I do go in the middle of the day, I can only get pub games, which are, even when they're not toxic, it's hit or miss as to whether there's any competent play going on.
And not only that, you're still going to have people jumping into pubs that could be okay, but the same way that you are, just jumping in occasionally, you lose your edge and
Right.
until you play with other people for a while, because it does take a while to get back into it. And
Well, yeah.
But yeah, so I think anything that they do to eliminate toxicity is great. Unfortunately,
Right.
that it's like Big Brother. It's all of a sudden,
Right.
Facebook is going to really put that Big Brother.
Right. And Facebook, for better or for worse, has been known to have issues with their moderation ability. They crack down on things that they really shouldn't, and they don't crack down on things that they should.
It's always going to have people
Yeah.
complaining about all of that. And then look what happened in Reddit. Somebody posted something about not buying any more, Oculus or Facebook VR products. We should all just go out and get the Vive. And then right underneath it, HTC replied, "We're ready."
Right. I know, yeah. I'm like, I can't afford to buy the Vive. And number two, it's not as good. I mean, it's got better resolution and whatnot, but in a lot of other ways, it's not as good. Because it's not wireless. I don't like the Vive controllers as much as I do the Oculus controllers. Yeah.
I know. Look, I have the Rift, I have a Vive, I have the Quest.
And you play the Quest.
I play the Quest all the time, and the others are a pain in the butt,
Right.
So,
Right.
Given all in all, I'll take the Quest any day.
Right.
If I really have to get into something that's graphics oriented and I'm near one of my, super PCs that can do it, that's great. But in the meantime, people are picking up the Quest and the link cable and playing PSV, if they want to go into PC VR.
Right.
So, it's really all going to depend on what Oculus does next month in their promotion of the next headset and where they're
You
going.
mean Facebook.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm in Facebook, but it's,
they have said evidently that the Oculus brand isn't going away, but
yes, it is.
is Facebook Reality Labs, it's Facebook Connect 7. You're required now to have a Facebook login, not an Oculus login. I kind of think Oculus is going away.
Yeah, too. And it's weird seeing people that are buying the Go, knowing that the Go is going away.
I know. I'm like, why? It's going away in like 3 months. It's
I know.
effectively. Don't buy it.
It's crazy. I think that unless you're going to keep
Save
that
your money and get a Quest, a Quest Shack.
or get either a used OG Quest, depending on what's coming out, or one of the new.
There was a little bit of a leak, evidently, about the potential pricing of the new Quest coming out, and it looks like it's going to be $199 for a 64 gig.
I thought I saw $299 on the 64,
or $299 maybe, and then it's going to be
$399 for the 256.
like the current Quest for the 128 gig.
They don't have a 128
or 256 gig or whatever. Yeah,
that also has me concerned, because if they're going to go,
like, wait a second, they're putting in that much storage and it's the same prices as that means they really saved a lot of money on the materials and everything else. So
they cheaped it out. I mean, it looks like a Go. The build looks like a Go build. The inside, I don't know. I can't tell anything from the picture so far, but it looks pretty plasticky. So we're still going back to that because it is going to be the hype for the next month, and then everybody's going to pre-order it and not know really what it does until the middle of October when it's supposed to hit the streets. So, we're just playing this game. And I'm just hoping that they don't really mess up here, because by eliminating the Go so quickly, I mean, seriously, it's a year and a half.
Right.
And the Go is gone.
I know.
which makes me believe that the the Quest could go just as easily within the year and a half. So this
True.
new
I
Quest, I think,
mean, the Quest is their current the biggest moneymaker of the VR headsets. So my guess is that it would be the one to not go in a year and a half. But it you never know, it might. I hope they don't, and I hope that if they do come out with a brand new point 0 iteration within a year and a half, that they maintain backward compatibility, because I'm going to hold on to this Quest for as long as I can, because I can't afford to buy a new Quest every year and a half necessarily.
yeah,
You
well,
know?
that's just it. Is that's what sort of happened with me in PC VR because that's where I was way before the Quest, and it was so expensive to get into it that now by making it cheaper to get in, if they keep eliminating people, if you have to buy a new headset every year or two, it's not inexpensive anymore.
Right.
A new console every year or two is just not a good thing.
Right.
And the developers also seem to be sort of not getting all of the news they should be getting at this
Right.
time. You
Well,
know,
yeah. I mean, going back to what prompted all this, the Horizon Beta access. We have the developers in the MVR, the Discord, that don't have access to the beta, and they're in a program with Oculus where they were promised by Oculus that they would have access
that they
to
would
it.
be the first in the
Yeah,
beta.
yeah, and the uh, the Discord server admin, Michael, he was at OC6 last year. Everybody at OC6 was guaranteed they would have first access. He doesn't have access.
And he's an admin on a Discord channel.
Right.
So yeah, we have world builders, we have devs, we have admins that don't have
Right.
access, which is
Right.
completely insane. We have people that are just fooling around with it, and people that can really make use of it right away.
Right.
And
Well, right. I mean, we have RJ does VR in our Discord, and he was wondering, can I make a Horizon version of Fire Zone? But he can't get started on it yet because he doesn't have access. And as much as I am grateful that I've got access, I shouldn't have gotten it before them.
right, I've seen
They should have
play.
gotten it before me.
Right,
You know?
exactly. I've seen people that are just players, they're not admins, they're not devs, and they have access to beta, Horizon
Right.
Beta. And it's like, wait, I know I've owned the headset since day one. I know you've owned it since day one. I know you would think that people who were in from day one that were truly the early adopters
Right.
would get a crack at this thing.
Well,
It's
I can understand when they're going to the more public the beta access, which this the kind of is, that they would handle it as they usually do things, rolling out random, you know, and all that. So I can kind of understand that, but I don't understand why they're not honoring the promise to the devs and the people that were at OC6.
You mean like the promise that they made to never make you sign
I
into
know.
Facebook in order to
Yeah.
access one of those devices? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we've figured out now that
Yep.
Facebook really can't be trusted to tell you the truth all the time.
Well, yeah. We know this already, but
Yeah. Which is why this gets prompted. Otherwise, nobody would have any issue with the fact that Facebook is the one that's controlling Oculus,
right,
other than the fact
exactly.
that you can't believe anything they tell you. Other than that, there's no problem.
Right. So, anyways, moving on to new releases. Now that we turn yet another highlight into a little bit of a low light,
Okay, so that's
uh,
my job.
we have House Flipper VR that came out, and it is $14.99. And contrary to what a person in our Discord was hoping, it is not a game where you punch houses and make them flip over.
That would probably be more fun than what the game actually looks like, what it is. I mean,
Maybe.
Right now, the game looks like, would you like to spend a few tedious hours in VR? Here, we have the app for you.
No, it's a, would you like to be the star of your own HGTV show?
Yeah, I know, but oh God, I just
Yeah.
okay. I guess there's something for everybody, you know.
Well, yeah. That's not for me. That's not what I'm interested in. I mean, maybe if I were looking at buying a house and this sort of thing were included in a VR app to help me decide which house I wanted to buy, and I could flip the house within the real estate app, and it'll say, okay, I'm going to bring in this couch and that table and this chair, you know, that would make sense, but I'm not really into house flipping as a game.
And it's not even really house flipping. That's the crazy part because you're building up your dump into your dream house before you can get rid of it, and it's just I don't.
That's what you do is you improve a house and then sell it, and then you buy another house, improve it, sell it, you know.
Yeah.
So technically that's what house flipping is, but you're not always necessarily in reality taking a dump and turning it into a mansion.
Right. And
Or
staging
selling it.
right, staging it with the furniture and everything. It's really look like it's for people that read Better Homes and Gardens or are currently involved in fixing up their house or something. I could see it being interesting for an afternoon.
Well, if I were currently involved in fixing up my house, I think I'd even more want to stay away from this game because I'd be exhausted at the end of the day from fixing up my house.
Well, not only that, you'd be frustrated at the fact you'd actually have to pay for the materials that you're getting for free in the game to actually fix your house. So,
Yeah. Yeah, so moving on to our other new release, Shooty Fruity. So too.
In what way is this different from Fruit Ninja other than the sharp objects?
You have high velocity, more blunt objects that are flying towards the fruit.
So it's a Gallagher Fruity Academy or something?
It is Gallagher's version of Galaga.
Oh, God. So this week, new releases are not in my Quest library, and I don't foresee them taking up much space in them in the future either. It's not the best week for Quest. In my opinion.
You don't want to play Gallagher's version of Galaga? Invading alien fruit that you have to shoot?
Somehow killing fruit and shooting fruit has just never been my thing. It's
Okay.
If they couldn't get me to buy Shooty Skies, they're not going to get me to buy Shooty Fruity.
What about Shooty Fruity Skies?
Now there's something I might look into.
Giant flying fruit up in the sky that you have to shoot down with the airplane you are flying.
Can you build that in Horizon?
Maybe, I don't know. So anyways, moving on to our upcoming titles. We have, speaking of RJ Does VR, I believe he mentioned Let's Go Chopping is going to be available on SideQuest on September 1st, which is this coming Monday.
Which looks like it should be a lot of fun,
Or not Monday, Tuesday.
Yeah, Monday is the 31st, so Tuesday.
Yeah. So this coming Tuesday.
You'll be able to go chopping.
Not shopping, but
chopping. For zombies.
Yes, you chop up the zombies while you are shopping.
You have a shopping cart that you can put the pieces that you need, and it's sort of like going shopping during COVID. You have to just be careful. I don't think zombies
get too close to you. If they violate the social distancing, take off their heads.
Exactly. Let's stop futzing around with this and just do it the right way.
And you notice none of the zombies are wearing masks.
Yeah, I know. That's why it's perfectly politically correct to just
They
take
have
it.
disregard for their own safety and the safeties of others.
And you'll see them encroaching on your space. It's just, they're
Yeah.
bad.
Yes.
Speaking of which, you might want to check behind that door before you go out there.
Uh, um, we have another upcoming title that's not out yet, but it's got a little bit of news. Stride is still in beta, and they were evidently supposed to have endless mode out in the beta. I think this week, but it got pushed back to the end of next week. Not really a whole lot of news there, but it's still being worked on. They're wanting to take care and make sure everything is right and not rush it too much, because nobody wants a buggy product.
Right. No, I understand. That's good, because when something is released with a bug,
Yeah, I mean that almost killed Aspire 1.
I know.
How buggy it was at release.
It was crazy. I haven't got back in yet. Now that it seems like all the bugs are fixed and the patches are done and everything, I want to go back in. But it was frustrating at the beginning. It was really.
Yeah. Yeah, there were moments in there that were, okay, I can't get past that. Wait, how did I get past that? Oh, the bug worked in my favor.
I know. Yeah, it was weird, but weird. Nothing worked the way that it should. Even the
Right.
tutorial was telling you to do things that weren't in the game.
Right. Right. It was like, look at your wrist and tap it. And you're like, ow, but nothing's happening. When what it really meant was press the menu button.
Right. You can see how that could be mistaken, right? Yeah. So.
Well, to be fair, there that does happen sometimes. People, I mean, usually not necessarily on that scale, but people will be writing something and they'll decide that they want to go back and reword it a different way. So they go back and they type in the word new or whatever, but they didn't take out what was there before. So now it just reads weird.
Right.
You know?
Well,
Like, in the Stride Endless Mode announcement that they had a picture of an announcement saying that they wanted to make sure things kept to the standards that we have. Not the high standards.
right. High the standards.
Yes.
I always get a little upset when I see something like that. I'm expecting.
And I know that an editing error. They went, oh, we should reword this, and they went to reword this, but they didn't take out the part that was already there.
Right.
So, and that happens.
I know. That's just, as long as it doesn't break the gameplay, we're okay.
Right. Right. So, are we ready for the news?
I believe we are ready for the news.
Okay.
Would you
Is
please
it
release
good news or bad news?
Depends which you get to first. Which canoes are looking to get out?
So, Ultraleap partners with Qualcomm to integrate Gemini with the XR2 chip.
Great. Let's realize what everything does. We'll be able to celebrate.
Ultraleap, for those who have not been following, that is what Leap Motion rebranded itself to.
Right.
So they are partnering with Qualcomm to have their hand tracking solution integrated into the new XR2 chip, which is the one that will hopefully enable Quest competitors.
Right. At what point, we don't know. That's
right.
Just it. The chip isn't even in production yet.
Right. Right. But that is promising news. Leap Motion definitely knows what they are doing in the hand tracking field.
Right.
They've been at it longer than Oculus has.
Facebook.
Facebookulus.
Facebookulus, yes. I love it.
So that is a very promising move. It means that the XR2 chip, which was already very
Promising.
innovative and astounding, is going to be even more so.
Right. Once they actually standardize what they've promised, we'll be even happier. So.
Yeah. And at some point, a future Quest device will probably be using it also.
I would hope so. I mean, if that's going to be a standard, then that's what's meant by being a standard, is that it gets incorporated into all the headsets. So we'll see.
Exactly. In other news, speaking of partnering and acquiring, Apple has acquired Spaces, which recently sent a message out to its users of this is the last update of the Spaces app that we will have. We are going in a new direction. And evidently, the new direction is
creating
being
avatar.
acquired by Apple.
Exactly. They're creating the app. Well, the big thing about Spaces was they're the ones that put your face onto an avatar. So, you know.
That's spatial.
No, Spaces. Their big thing that Spaces did, the last thing they did before this Apple acquired them was they found a way to put your face onto an avatar. And that's when Apple bought.
But I know Spatial did that.
Right, I know. Spatial did it. But Spaces.
That may be a bit of news that I didn't hear. I don't know, but Spaces started out as a location-based VR company, and then when COVID hit, they transitioned, and they were enabling you to do Zoom and Skype and whatnot from within VR using a VR camera. So it's just more signs of what Apple might be having in mind with their AR and VR.
Well, yeah, it's going to be their social media platform for sure, but that was one of the last things I know that Spaces was working on, that Apple was interested in, was the avatar creation and being able to, get expressions on faces and things like that.
So, yep, it is interesting news. It just reinforces what we already mentioned earlier, that Apple is in the game and they are moving toward coming out with something that will probably take over the world and make normal people realize that they need AR and VR.
At least take over 14% of the world like they have with the cell phone market, and the other 86% of the world will find the less expensive, better competitor.
And my apologies for my reaction there. I have a cat behind me on the chair. He decided to reach out and touch my back with his claws. So
we've been watching him playing around behind you for the last half hour.
So another bit of news is Big Screen now supports DLNA media server apps. So you can use Plex, you can use Kodi if you use that, or any number of other DLNA solutions to be able to watch movies with your friends wirelessly. So
yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
I think the bigger thing that came from Big Screen was the fact that they made an announcement that there's going to be the release from a major movie studio simultaneously in the theaters and on Big Screen. So
very true. That's I'm just wondering what movie and when.
and which studio? Is this going to be an Amazon production, a Netflix production, or are we going to really have a real studio producing a real movie and giving it us? So
it's going to be New Line Cinema. No.
Face Your Fears, the movie.
No. The New Line Cinema has some good movies.
They do, a few.
In other news, Unity is filing for an IPO. Their ticker symbol will be U. That's just ASL for U. Just U.
If you use your imagination.
Yes. Oh, so this is E, this is U. So.
Understood.
And this is you.
And that's you. And this isn't Brad, and that's not. Anyway, no, it seems to be interesting the way that they're going. I like the fact that they're all pursuing hand tracking, obviously vigorously. The big thing is going to be whether or not they go to actually projecting the image on your retina, which seems to be what wave technology is all about. The way I understand it is the way I understand it is that right now the problem that we're having in VR is that everything is literally the same distance from your eye.
True.
And what wave technology will do is give you a clearer definition of distance
Right.
when it's projected onto your retina.
Right.
That seems to be what's, the next huge leap that will come through.
Right. Yeah. That specifically had nothing to do with Unity filing for an IPO, but it is interesting.
And, well, Unity filing for an IPO is just a money thing,
Well, yeah, but it is interesting that during all this epic suing of Apple and whatnot, and getting Microsoft and Facebook involved on Epic's side, Unity is quietly filing for an IPO.
I can't figure out a lot of what's going on. And TikTok, which is being, it's like...
Yeah, like it's got Microsoft and I think Walmart bidding against each other on it.
Yeah, or working together on acquiring.
Right.
Which is an interesting thing in and of itself. I mean, it's just...
Yeah, true. But anyways, next bit of news is, as I mentioned in our highlights, Facebook Horizon. The beta is expanding and the NDA. So people can talk about it and share it openly.
Right, and right now you can look and you can go there and it'll show on your Oculus app as an invite only, and you can freak out that you just can't hit that blue button because it's just not giving you the option.
Right, right. And speaking of Facebook Horizon, as we alluded to earlier, Oculus Connect is now Facebook to Connect.
7.
Yeah.
Facebook Connect 7. They just
and it looks like it's got a different logo too. Yeah. So, and it's going to be online. Obviously, they're gonna have venues, and I think they're gonna have. I'm not sure, but I want to say they're supposed to have it in big screen as well, but I'm not sure.
I'm not sure yet.
I don't know.
I wouldn't be surprised.
But I know that they will have it in venues, and I wouldn't be surprised if they also had it as an event for Horizon beta testers also, because they are holding events in there as well. There are events in the event system in the app that are Facebook Horizon events. So maybe they'll have a Horizon beta user hangout sessions or something during it, or who knows.
And I don't think anybody knows right now.
Nobody knows.
And that's the entertainment portion of the show, folks.
Going back to Apple, though, Apple TV Plus will be getting an AR companion content. So they are incorporating AR as a side to their TV content. It could be characters or objects from the shows, which would be overlaid into the real world environment, or not a whole lot is known about exactly what it's going to be, but they are obviously still, once again, doubling down on everything, and
I know, but it's such a limited, only people that have an eye object will be able to participate in this.
An eye object. I have two eye objects right here.
No, unless it has the little eye in front of them, they don't belong to you, and they're not.
Well, this is my eye.
That's your eye,
This
sir.
is my eye.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, but okay. They could have been doing this on every phone in the planet if they wanted to. I'm not sure what they're going to do with it.
And there have been experiments with this kind of thing before, like the Mr. Robot thing. There was a VR tie-in experience with the Mr. Robot show.
Which made sense.
But these things are few and far between right now. And while that's not necessarily a bad thing, it's also not necessarily a good thing.
It's a thing. We'll have to see where they take it. It's Apple, so we don't know. It's Tim Cook, who was the one that didn't want anything on Apple Plus that was anything over a 7+ rating at the beginning. So we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
In addition, I saw an article on Upload VR talking about an upcoming VR project called Barnstormers Determined to Win. And the guy behind it did so 2 years ago a VR app experience, whatever, called I Am a Man, which was, according to them, a poignant piece of VR history, transporting viewers back to the heart of the movement in 1968 and chronicling the days surrounding the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. So, a civil rights appreciation or awareness app. And Barnstormers continues that trend by making an app around or celebrating 100 years of the NLB, or the Negro League Baseball.
Which they don't even like to use the so
I know. I'm kind of surprised that name hasn't undergone a protest about it needing to be changed. Yeah.
now that we've brought it up, it will. So
yeah. But according to the developer, he wanted to work on a project that was more celebratory in nature and had the draw for replay. So this is actually a game and not just an experience. Players will be cast as a fictional character in the NLB, working their way to the top. There's a story mode, there's a simulation mode. You'll be able to play against legends like Satchel Paige, Josh Gibson, Buck O'Neill. But it's not going to be only a fun baseball game. It's going to explore the racial segregation issues and the struggles of the 1940s and the 1950s.
Right, until Jackie Robinson got in and broke the barrier there. So it's good to have it.
Yeah. And in addition, it is backed by an Epic Games mega grant.
Epic is just out to blow up the world this month, man. But they do have a friend in Microsoft, I have to say.
Yeah. You got a friend in me. Oh, wait, sorry.
That's okay. That was a really surprising one to me, that Google and Apple both are fighting them, and Microsoft is going, oh no, dudes, these guys are great. It's like,
right.
Okay.
But barnstormers will also use another one of the developers' projects, which is Axe One from Logic Grip. This is a cover for the touch controllers that locks them together on top of each other like a baseball bat.
Right.
So,
Right. They're coming out with a few of those. They have the one that's a baseball bat. They have the one that's coming out that's supposed to be for sword play or a
right.
fishing rod. And,
Or guns.
guns. Right. They're going to come out. Yeah. You buy your Quest and then you just have to buy $20,000 worth of accessories.
Yep. Like Michael.
Exactly. Wait
Be
till the
like
Quest.
Mike.
Be like Mike. Bye.
And then our last bit of news. A 16-year-old builds a custom smart glass device and looks to patent it and potentially profit from it. Mars Capadia, this is a popular mechanics article. A 16-year-old from Arizona designed his own concept for a pair of smart glasses powered by Arduino Nano Every. So, it's powered by Arduino.
Arduino. Okay.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily an real competitor, but it is supposedly better than Google Glass was. So,
Well, to be fair, Google Glass was taken off the market, what, 5 years ago, 6 years ago? So improving on a dead object is
well,
really,
yeah, but one of the things about this that's cool is it's got flip up sunglass lenses basically, so that if you need the darker contrast because we're in a bright area, or you want it to be more of a VR like thing,
right.
you can flip that down, so just flip it up if you need that tint gone, and I believe Unreal has come out with an attachment that does that as well.
They're all going to
So
happen.
that you can block out and make it some more of a VR experience.
They'll all have to come out with some sort of visor because there's no way around that at this particular
Right.
point.
This is Capadia calls them the world's first TOLED smart glasses, which stands for transparent OLED, basically. He originally reached out to China to develop a custom screen, but then decided to go with a prefab screen for the first iteration. Probably a good idea not to try to work with China right now in today's environment.
Probably, yes, I would imagine so.
And trying to get to where this says. He says the glasses replace his smartwatch and almost replace his phone. It's not like in Rio though. It's more. He says he's not necessarily aiming at gamers or everyday consumers, but for construction workers or doctors, to
or enterprise again,
without their hands getting tied up.
which is going to be absolutely the answer. Smartphones will be going away over the next few years. So
yeah. So it's always exciting to see a 16-year-old, go, "Hey, look at this!" And I made something super cool.
yeah, it would be great now to see a real company take it over and make it.
Well, he is patenting it, so potentially he could then decide to sell it, or he work with a real company to mass produce it. Who knows?
Yeah, it sounds to me like something Musk would have been interested in.
Maybe. At the very end of the article, he does say he would like to one day start an artificial intelligence company that creates biomedical devices, sort of like Elon Musk's Neuralink.
Gee, how would that come about? I couldn't see the correlation at all.
Anyways, that brings our show to an end. So remember to like, subscribe, tell your friends to like and subscribe, and hit that
Threat
notification bell button with the tip of your nose.
Or the tip of his nose, if you can reach.
Yeah. Either which way. All right.
Well,
Have a great weekend, the rest of your week. Go check out Let's Go Shopping. And if you really want to flip a house, you can go do that too.
at your own discretion. We're not.
At your own risk.
Exactly.
Have fun. Bye.
Bye, guys.